So I thought I'd give you a talk today about the 24-hour Bravo pH test, which I'm undergoing at the moment. They found I have acid reflux. I'm not certain how severe it is, but the acid reflux, it's been troubling me. My underlying disease is shortness of breath, so they're trying to find out if it's aspirational, as in if the acid is floating up to the lungs and inflaming it, making it hard for me to breathe. So I've undergone the esophageal manometry. I've undergone that test, and I've undergone a number of tests. I had the endoscopy. So the 48-hour Bravo pH test is next. So the test, there's a lot to talk about, so I'll get cracking. The test, essentially, the test involves putting a pill inside just around this area with wireless sensors, which then send information about your, I think it's over here, which then send information about your pH levels to this particular device. It sends the information wirelessly. And yeah, I have to wear this for 48 hours, and it was inserted into my body during an endoscopy, during an upper endoscopy. There are other ways to, so they were going to do an endoscopy anyway, so they put the pill in right then. I was unconscious, and when I got up, the first thing I knew that there was a pill inside somewhere over here, and I could feel it, because the pill is about the size of a rubber of a pencil, like the ones that they have at the back of the pencil. So you do feel it, but it's not as painful as I thought it would be. It's rather, it tugs at you, so you know. It kind of, there's a slight chest pain that I have when I eat or when I burp or similar, so I feel it. The first night was especially bad when I just felt like, man, something's going on there. And there is something over there. So the pill automatically goes away in about 5 days, and I think it's attached to something, like a magnetic thing, which also disappears like within a month. They say do not take an MRI for about 30 days after the test, after the pill is inserted. So they inserted the pill. I currently have this monitor, and this test is for 48 hours. So they're monitoring the amount of acid and pH level that I have for 48 hours. It's considered an alternative to the 24-hour pH test, where they put a bunch of catheters with pressure sensors all the way to your esophagus, which measures. And people say that's slightly unpleasant because of the catheter that goes through one of your noses, and it basically keeps your vocal cord open all the time, so you feel that there is something in your throat. But this is supposed to be an easier alternative to that particular test. Though there's been criticism of it being the pill going off a lot quicker in 24 hours, or people have complained about chest pain as a result, and they've had to have the pill removed because of the excessive chest pain. So they go to the hospital, they talk to their doctor, and the doctor says, okay, we'll remove the pill for you. So I'm not yet certain when my pill's going to go away. I had it inserted on Tuesday evening. Today is Thursday. So hopefully it'll go away. If not, then I have to go back to the doctor and tell him, well, I basically, please remove the pill. It's giving me a hard time. I'm sorry, there's a fight going on right opposite me on the opposite deck in New York. And there's a helicopter flying over me. So it's a beautiful day though, despite all this craziness. So the box may look something like this. So, and you have to record everything you eat or drink. So this is when you sleep, when you have heartburn, when you have, what's this, I don't know what this is. Sorry, when you're regurgitating, or when you have chest pain. And when you eat, you have to record everything you eat. And they give you these pieces of paper with instructions, and basically a log of some sort that you have to keep with you. So record the amount of heartburn. I know this is quite a lot, But you know, it's mainly the chest pain that I thought was heartburn, so I put a note at the bottom saying heartburn due to, I don't know, yeah, heartburn due to pill in esophagus. Heartburn was mild, accompanied by burps, right? So it is basically, you have to, this is with you at all times. You have to wear it, or there's a clip that you can basically hook it up to your pocket or to your pant, and you have to keep this within 3 feet of the 3 feet of the pill. So if you forget it, then this thing will start making noise, and once you go back closer to it, it'll re-establish a connection. So I tried that once. It's a sign that, you know, the information was being transmitted, because it started making a loud noise, and I ran back to the box. My schedule for this test was basically no restrictions. I basically was off PPIs for about Dexalant, that's what I'm taking. I was off that medicine for about 2 days on purpose. I was also eating the worst food available. I was eating pizza, burger. I don't feel like eating it, but I did eat it. I somehow put it down the throat, because that would increase the pH, so they would know that I really have big acid reflux problems. These were tips that I gained from a couple of videos related to the 24-hour pH testing via the catheter. So I suggest you watch those videos as well. One is from a guy named Tommy Tank, and the other is from a nice lady who's put up a 10-minute video. You might see a link on YouTube on the side. She has some great tips on, you know, that you should eat, what you should eat, what you should do. These are all what they think. This is not medical advice, so do not hold me responsible. But, you know, it's tips on how to go about things when you're doing this. So I'm going back to the hospital right now to return this. It really didn't affect my life. I was moving around with this. I went out to eat. I went to Bed Bath & Beyond and shopped. No one could see this machine because it was clipped on. And everything went pretty smoothly, except for the chest pain that I was having trouble with. So yeah, when you're sleeping, you probably want to keep this close by. I hooked it on to my pant, and I just slept straight for the night. So I didn't have any trouble, but just make sure you don't like step on it. When you take a bath, just make sure it's outside. One recommendation is to put it in a Ziploc bag and put it outside the tub or shower area, but keep it within distance so they know. It's important to record the sleep hours, because that's when, for a lot of people, the acid reflux is more serious when they sleep. It's of course recommended that you keep your you keep your head above 6 inches, but I slept flat, so they get a better idea of, you know, they got a better idea of the acid reflux. Unfortunately, I didn't have the most exciting acid reflux, which is great. Actually, I feel better, but you know, it's not good for the test. So it's a good test overall. I mean, it was painless for me. I think I'll get the results within about 2 weeks. They'll read everything and let me know. And there is an alternative. They did the esophageal manometry ahead of this, before they put this in, so that basically they check, they put a giant tube inside and they check the sphincter movement, and then they decided on this test. My sphincter movement, I think, is okay. There's a lot of debate about whether you should do this or whether you should do the 24-hour pH test, which involves a catheter. This is largely untested. I didn't see any testimony, so I thought I'd put one up on YouTube. But many people have talked about the 24-hour pH. One thing is that there's less uncertainty in the 24-hour pH with the catheter through the nose, because it's slightly more uncomfortable, but it could be more accurate, because you know that the wire is sitting there, and the wire is connected to a monitor, just like this. So it's all wired, essentially, going straight to your nose into this. So there's no wireless in that. And it's got a similar monitor. You have to do similar things. But it's highly inconvenient for a lot of people because of the nose. You kind of feel it tug through your nose, and when you're eating, you know, the food kind of tugs the wire down, when you're sleeping, then it kind of moves around, and people have expressed some discomfort. Some people are very comfortable with it, but in this there are issues as well. One is wireless connectivity. If you walk away too far or you forget this, and it's easy to forget stuff like this, then the wireless connection's lost. Data will not be recorded. I read a scientific study that talked about technical problems. About 10% of these have technical issues. So they put in the pill after a sort of endoscopy of some sort, and then you come back home and it doesn't work. I mean, that sucks, doesn't it? And many have had issues on the pill just falling off really quickly, or the pill not falling off at all, so they have had to get it removed surgically. So that's something that you have to decide on, what's good for you, what not. This is slightly, it's been around for years, but not a lot of people undergo it. But the two GIs that I see one, I used to see one, his test, he also recommended the Bravo pH test as sort of first line of defense to see if anything was seriously wrong. Considering my other digestive system just about okay, I'm swallowing food very well. I have stool, my stool is okay. So I recommend you see the other 24-hour pH videos, and for guidance you call your doctor. I just did this video to provide a guide of some sort to see if anybody needed help or if there are some questions unanswered. I hope you find this well. Feel free to email or leave a comment, and I will answer those questions for you. In the meanwhile, good luck if you have the test, and get well soon. Okay, thank you.